now turn it back to our chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Okay, good afternoon. The board meeting of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and its component units is now being called to order. Today's in-person meeting is also being held virtually via teleconference or video conference, with the proceedings live streamed from the Port Authority website. Earlier today, the Committee on Capital Planning, Execution, and Asset Management met in public. The Committees on Finance met in public and executive. Their reports will be filed with the official minutes of today's board meeting. The Commissioners also met in executive earlier today to discuss matters related to the purchase, sale, or lease of real property where disclosure would affect the value thereof or the public interest, matters related to the proposed, pending, or ongoing administrative proceedings, personnel matters, and matters involving ongoing negotiations or reviews of contracts or proposals. We're going to start today's meeting on a rather solemn note. A couple of recognitions and moments of silence. I think it's pretty important that we stop everything we're doing in a day to recognize some of the important things and sacrifices of those around us. Recently, we lost two members of the Port Authority family. They passed Gus Trozzi, a path electrician in the car equipment division with 17 years of service, and Richard Mendoza, a principal accounting clerk in the controller's department, and 5 years at the Port Authority of service, dedicated service. I would ask that we stand for a moment and for a moment of silence for these two of our brothers that have passed away. While we're standing, we're going to recognize two other individuals that passed away on April 30th. A very tragic accident occurred at JFK. It was a result of two construction workers who were doing work for the Port Authority. Two individuals who had dedicated themselves to bettering our agency, working as our partners, Francisco Reyes and Fernando Lagunas Pereira. And we ask that we have a moment of silence for Fernando and Francisco and their families. The last moment of silence, what I think was pretty important and timely. April 18th was Yom HaShoah, a Holocaust Remembrance Day. And across the globe, people remembered and honored the 6 million Jews who were murdered during the Holocaust and murdered during the Nazi regime in Germany. The date for the remembrance coincides with the 80th anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, which was the single largest revolt by the Jews in World War II. 80 years later, sadly, we see anti-Semitism rising to an all-time high. According to the Anti-Defamation League, it has increased 36% from 2022. I just read an article a few days ago about a high school student in Vegas, a nonverbal autistic child, who was attacked and a swastika was drawn on his back. Horrible, horrible stuff. We at the Port Authority want to recognize and stand with our fellow men and women, and understand that all men and women should be treated with respect and dignity, and we will stand up and be ever present to stamp out the discrimination that exists in our country, in our society, and never again. So a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Alrighty, so at this time, we're going to switch gears. We are here for a moment of recognition. And again, as I stated before, I think that we as a society don't do enough to celebrate the incredible accomplishments and achievements of our fellow human beings. We're all busy in our lives, but I think it's important at the Port Authority that we recognize those individuals who have given everything to this agency. And when I came here 6 years ago, I met a very special individual. His name was Huntley. And I had a lot of questions, and I had a lot of things I want to talk about. And I will tell you, one of the constants in those discussions, I found Huntley in the middle of these discussions talking about what the Port Authority meant, what it was, what it is, its mission statement. I will tell you, Huntley, and to your wife and your two children, and to your family, and to your larger Port Authority family, you're an amazing individual. You are such an amazing individual. You know, we noted when we were out at JFK at the dedication that the day you were born was the day of JFK. Our president visited, now known as JFK. And there's such a symbolism in there somewhere about that spirit that JFK captured and the spirit that you have captured, Huntley. I've been lucky enough to be associated with you for 6 years. You have been our North Star. You have been our guider. You have been the professional. You see the room as others don't see it. You see the curve around the curve. I don't think I'll ever meet a professional as dignified, as professional, as distinguished, as honest and honorable as I am seeing here right now. I was watching the South Korean president serenade President Biden with Don McLean's.
Don't sing.
I'm not going to sing. Huntley's going to sing. And it's the part, it was actually a pretty good song. He was talking about the music died. And some people are really sad for you that the music's dying today, Huntley, that you're leaving. And I'm not. I'm thrilled for you. You've given 38 years of your life here. We couldn't ask for anything more. You've got to enjoy your time with your wife and your kids and whatever you want to do. You have been 24/7 since the moment I've met you. All of these airports that have been put in place, the vision planning, everything has been centered around your brilliance. So we have a couple of things that we're going to work really hard to get you emotional. We're going to start with a video tribute, and I know Jim Hyman and others have probably leaked that to you, and I'm hoping they did not show it to you before. You're going to see it now. So if we can go to the videotape, and it's about a 9-minute, bear with us, it's worth it. Huntley's put his time. Let's see the life and times of Huntley Lawrence. Huntley has been with the agency for more than 3 decades. He's just been an amazing force. He is known as Mr. Aviation in the Port Authority, and now he's the Chief Operating Officer. He is just an amazing professional, unflappable. He can take all incoming. At the end of the day, he will make sure it gets done.
You know, growing up in East Elmhurst and Corona was really a great opportunity. These were really good middle-class communities, but communities that were in close proximity to LaGuardia Airport. And both the community and the education that we were able to get at PS 127 that was focused on aviation all sparked my interest in the aviation business as well.
Having worked with Huntley for nearly 20 years, I don't think that there's anyone that contributed more to the aviation agenda than Huntley did. He has a remarkable ability to look at complex situations, find out what the key issues are, and come up with unique and thoughtful solutions for the problem. He's always steps ahead of the other side in a negotiation, and he really has the ability to see through all of the complexities and drive it to a great outcome for the Port Authority.
Working with Huntley to manage the largest airport system in the world safely and efficiently was one of the highlights of my career in aviation. Huntley's reputation preceded our first meeting at an industry conference years ago. He has well-known visibility throughout the aviation industry. He set high standards for performance. Huntley challenges people to think holistically about issues encountered in the airport environment. His leadership will leave a lasting impression on the aviation department and agency.
From my earliest days as a Port Authority employee back in 1985, I was always taught about how important it was for our agency to be a good neighbor. That hadn't always been true of the Port Authority in its initial years, but by the time I joined the agency 35 years ago, we had really begun to reflect on what it meant to be a good neighbor, what it meant to treat with the utmost respect those who lived, worked, and went to school near our airports, bridges, tunnels, path stations, and bus terminal.
I am so privileged to have had the opportunity to work with you, not only as the Director of Aviation, but as the Chief Operating Officer. You made a real difference. And part of that is because you're so curious. You always want to know more. You always seek to learn more about every situation to try and make it better, to try and perform better. And you ask that not just of yourself, but you ask that of us and all the people who are around you. And that's very exciting. Your creative spirit and your willingness to be open to new ways of doing business, I think really has propelled the Port Authority forward in a big way.
Hi, Huntley. Congratulations again on your retirement from the Port Authority. 38 years, and we have known each other close to 25 of those 38 years. First on the Newark Air Train Extension Project, and then most recently working for you as the Chief Operating Officer of the Port Authority. And I just want to let you know, part of the legacy that you've left behind over the years that I've worked with you, it's been challenging. You've always challenged me to ask those questions, those tough questions, and also to look for aggressive solutions on how to bring excellence to the projects, to the agency. So I just really want to thank you for that legacy. I want to thank you because it's caused me to grow professionally. It's caused me to grow personally. And I just really want to thank you for that.
I've been at this for a long time. And I am very, very passionate, as many of you know. I walk around in sneakers. I'm here all time of night to focus on changing the experience all across our organization.
In working with Huntley over the years, he has always been approachable. He has been a calming presence when things get challenging. Huntley is a thoughtful and strategic leader and a great mentor. He is willing to take on new challenges, and after becoming the Chief Operating Officer, took a keen interest in the port and the supply chain and learning everything about what we do. Huntley brings enthusiasm and confidence to everything that he got involved with.
This is a historic time for the airports in the New York, New Jersey area. In this generation, we are going to have the ability to completely redevelop all of our facilities and get them ready and prepared for the 21st century.
Working with Huntley these past 2 years has been challenging, empowering, and inspiring. Huntley challenged me to think outside the box, communicate a vision for the future, and focus on the brilliant basics. He empowered me to get things done, but was always there to provide the blocking and tackling necessary to navigate Port Authority process. And Huntley inspired me to take on new challenges, strive to be innovative, and lead by example.
There have been quite a few leaders in our department at the aviation director level. Before me, Tom Bosco, before Tom, Susan Baer, before Susan Baer, Bill Dakota, and quite a few leaders before then. But I'm fortunate to be the first person of color in this position, and really a privilege to serve in this organization in this capacity.
Hi, Huntley. Saluting the 4 C's of your leadership characteristics that have impacted me. 1, credibility. Your consistent demonstration of knowledge and expertise, making you a respected role model inside and outside the agency. 2, commitment. Your resolute approach where all avenues are explored and ideas are investigated to solve problems and get to the finish line. 3, confidence in how you conduct yourself and your corresponding actions, combined with your courage and calmness in adverse situations and during difficult times. And 4, your cultural competence, your understanding and respecting of different customs, traditions, beliefs, leading to a collaborative and leadership approach which engages all. In keeping with the C theme, we commemorate you and we celebrate you. Thank you for your friendship and professionalism.
Huntley, before I thank you for 38 years of public service, I want to thank your family for putting up with your 38 years of public service. We don't work typical jobs. Our operations run 24/7. And I know firsthand that your family has put up with a lot while you've helped to improve the region's airports and serve over 140 million customers a year.
Huntley and I go back a few decades, but who's counting? When we first worked together, Huntley focused on operations, while I focused on capital investment and maintenance. Our experiences gained early in our careers often resulted in our approaching challenges and opportunities through different lenses. Our unique perspectives often led to lively conversations, which I believe resulted in better outcomes.
Congratulations, Huntley, on your 38 years of service. There's a Chinese character that always reminded me of you. The character is Listen, or Ping. Chinese characters are built by many parts, and for this word, to truly listen is to include our hearts, minds, ears, and eyes into each interaction, each problem we're trying to solve, each innovative idea that we want to implement, and in turn, we find the full spirit of common good, public service, and leadership. Thank you for seeing the potential in me throughout my career journey to propel me to becoming the first Asian American senior leader at the Port Authority. Thank you for empowering me to take Operation Services into new heights to serve our greatest assets and customers, our employees. Your legacy is marked in air, land, rail, and sea.
Huntley, you are a consummate leader, a consummate executive, a consummate guide, consummate colleague. You are always focused on how to move the ball forward, how to get things accomplished. I am so grateful for your engagement, for your advice, and for the opportunity to be a colleague of yours. You have contributed an enormous amount over 38 years to the Port Authority. You have contributed enormously to the agency over the last 6 years while I have been with the agency. I'm grateful to you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your advice, and Godspeed in your next chapter.
Many of you that are often unheard of, right? Your voices are not often heard. Well, we listened to you when we were thinking about putting this together. So I thank all of you for that.
We're not done, Huntley. We're not done, just so you know. We still have the microphone. And before we hear from the commissioners, first of all, we want to adopt this very special resolution, and then we have a couple of things we want to give you. By way of resolution adopted by the board on March 14, 1957, the Howard S. Cullman Distinguished Service Medal was established to honor Howard S. Cullman for his outstanding achievements and contributions to the Port Authority and service to the people of the Port Authority District. Having served as Commissioner, Vice Chair, Chair, and Honorary Chair of the agency over a significant period of time, in which this award has been designated as the highest award for service given by the Port Authority to a Port Authority employee who has performed the most outstanding service. In the case of Huntley A. Lawrence, it is recommended that the Howard S. Cullman Distinguished Service Medal be awarded to Huntley A. Lawrence for his 38 years of exemplary service to this agency and his integrity and dedication to a career in public service, which has benefited the Port Authority and the entire region it serves. It is with sincere gratitude that we recognize and honor you today, Huntley, for over your 38 years of dedicated service and all that you have done in building this region. You are truly an exceptional individual, and you will be missed. At this point, I ask for a motion on the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Let's ask for roll call.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yelling from the rooftops, yes.
Commissioner Helmy?
Yes.
Commissioner Horwitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosado?
Yes.
Sounds like it's unanimous to me. Any commissioner want to be heard? Commissioner Richardson.
Huntley A. Lawrence, Mr. Aviation. When I think of you, I think of excellence. And quite frankly, as technical as the aviation world is, there's a creative in you as well. I know it. I want to personally thank you for your leadership. Yes, I see your family turning around and saying, really? Really, and let me tell you why. In my time on this board, you have embraced and elevated this Port Authority's commitment to public art. I've seen it. And when I see you in the airports, talking about what we're doing and what we've done, I just want to say thank you. You have left us in really good hands. You've built a fabulous team. A little while ago, there was a reference made to serenading, and it brought to mind one of my favorite songs. I'm not going to worry about a thing, because everything's going to be all right. For those of you that know those lyrics, I will leave it at that. My friend, see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Chair?
For his family, we will get this testament notarized, in case you don't believe it. I would like to share some thoughtful reminiscences. I would like to suggest that Jim Heitman's comments about thoughtful solution solving was right on. But what I remember, or will remember, going forward from the 12 years I've served with you, can you believe 12? There are 3 or 4 moments where you have made me really look good with my family. So I will share them with you. First of all, I will say it's called lactation stations. And if you go to the airports now, my daughter, who is an adult, and she brought her infant, my grandchild, over, she said, "Dad, you know, I'd like some privacy." And so when I said that to Huntley, next thing I know, there are lactation stations, and I think that's a great activity, and I thank you for doing that. The second thing is I have an autistic second daughter, and the sensory rooms that you put together at Newark are leading edge for the autistic community, and I thank you. And for my son, who has a master's in marine biology, the way you were able to save the turtles that crossed the runway, I want to thank you for saving the turtles. So you've taken care of just about the whole spectrum of people who are in need, so I thank you. I particularly like 13 left, 31 right, because I don't know how many times I've voted for money for that, and I see how I'm doing that again today. But when I landed and pointed out the window to my wife, we are at 13L, 31R, I went to the top of the class. So I think I want to, though, end with the Bronze Palm and Oak Leaf Cluster Award for putting up with, do you know how many commissioners you've served with? I didn't think so, but I counted them. Well, actually, I had someone count them for me. Over 50%, 50% of all commissioners of all time, since 1921, you have served with. 85 commissioners, 41 from New York and 44 from New Jersey. I'm going to have to ask Mr. Commissioner Helmany why they got dibs on 3 more commissioners. But once again, I want to show you how we're favoring New Jersey. But in addition, how many executive directors and how many chairmen have you served with? Now, Rick is going to be jealous, but you have served with 12 executive directors, or you have outlasted 12 executive directors and 10 chairmen. So I want to add my applause personally to all the things that you've done.
I thought you were going to ask him to rank his favorite executive directors.
No, chairman.
No. Any other commissioners want to be heard? Gary.
Huntley, I'd like to just, first of all, congratulate you and your family on your retirement. And I echo everything that's been said up in this dais today. But there is one other thing I want to personally thank you for. And I've had the opportunity to be on this board almost 6 years. And obviously your steadfast leadership and commitment is clearly second to none. But, you know, you've been responsible for moving many aviation projects forward and building these beautiful terminals. But, you know, the terminals represent more than just bricks and mortar, as we've discussed. The job creation that has come from those terminals and the opportunities that were created, you know, really can't be counted. And many of those opportunities that we created from the projects that you were so directly involved with moving forward have really transformed so many people's lives, giving them an opportunity to get into middle-class careers, family-sustaining careers. So I wanted to bring that note to this discussion today, that not only have you had a stellar career in everything you've done in aviation, including the bricks and mortars of building terminals, but you've also played an important role in transforming lives and creating opportunity for so many people, and I want to thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner? Commissioner Eve?
I don't have sufficient words, but as many of the commissioners here, I've had just the extraordinary honor and pleasure of serving for you. I've been here almost 6 years, and I think about what we have done in 6 years, and as extraordinary as it's been, it really feels like it's a blip in time relative to your 38 years of service. Your impact is incalculable, incalculable, and it's been profound. So thank you, to your extraordinary family, who has been along your side every step of the way, and Godspeed.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, so at this time, Hirsch, we have a couple of proclamations we're going to give to Huntley. You want to spearhead that? Come on up, Hirsch. So the vice chair want to join me, and after that, I'm going to ask all the board members to join as we actually present these two. Okay, so just give us two. You hold on to this right now a second.
We saw in the video a very strong connection to the Guadalupe. We saw in the video a very strong connection to the Barlow Queens, where you went to elementary school, where you went to high school, where you got your pilot's license. And so we spoke to the elected officials in Queens that represent LaGuardia and Zion Family Airports, and they wanted to recognize your service to the Port Authority as well. And from all levels of government, we have a proclamation of the United States Congress on the regular meets, a proclamation from the New York State Senate, Leroy Connery from Southeast Queens, the New York State Assembly, Jeffrey Audrey from LaGuardia, the Queens Borough President, Lauren, and lastly,
yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm that I was managing community affairs and external relations for the JFK Development Program. And today is the state day, and so I am like going crazy, but it was so important that I was here for you. I want you to know that I am missing press conferences to be here for you because it was that important to me. Because when I was working for the JFK Development Program, you know, you kind of feel like you're down here in the weeds. Huntley saw me. He saw my partner in crime, our majority member of Powers, who is also not giving us the JFK Development Program. He took his time to get into the weeds to make sure that the JFK Development Program truly serves the community in which it sits, which is the Southeast Queens community. The first time I met him, he told me about the fact that he went to August Martin, which is in our speaker's district, and so this is a proclamation from the New York City Council, has my signature, Speaker Adams' signature, and our majority whip. So thank you so much for your service.
But this is the honor for me to present because as I don't
Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Thanks to the commissioners all to join us. I'm sorry, we do a quick photograph? Yeah, sure. Yeah, please. Quick photograph. Thank you very much. All right, commissioners, come join us. Service Excellence Award.
The Board of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and its Executive Director hereby recognize the contributions made by Huntley A. Lawrence during his 38 years of dedicated public service to the Port Authority and the bi-state region. Since joining the Port Authority in 1985, Huntley has served with distinction in key management roles of increasing responsibility with an unwavering commitment to integrity and accountability, including most recently as the Director of Aviation since 2016 and as Chief Operating Officer since 2021. In his most recent role, Huntley effectively oversaw an unprecedented level of investment at the Port Authority's 3 major commercial airports, transforming them to world-class facilities that will serve the region for generations to come. Huntley was an early and vocal champion for the recent establishment of new standards to deliver world-class customer experience for the users of all Port Authority facilities and implementing 21st century governance standards to monitor performance. Huntley was also instrumental in enabling the agency to navigate the severe impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, ensuring that appropriate safety protocols were established and enforced for the benefit of Port Authority employees and its customers. Upon the occasion of his upcoming retirement, it is with our utmost appreciation, respect, that we honor and thank Huntley A. Lawrence for his public service and essential contributions to the Port Authority and the region it serves.
That gets to Huntley. You can present that. Appreciate it. You would think of. Hey, 1 second, everybody hold it for 1 second. This is the last surprise. Unless my staff is a big mouth. So here's the deal. Huntley started here in 1985. Michael Jordan, Rookie of the Year 1985. I said before, if we knew in 1985 that Huntley was going to be of this caliber and have this delivery, we would give him the Rookie of the Year card and designation. But we didn't. But in light of that, I can give you a real authentic word. Michael Jordan and Magic to recognize that you have been our Rookie of the Year since 1985. That's what I like. All right, the floor is yours, either here or at the microphone. Your call. I'll go to the microphone. Mayor, my advice is please.
All I can say is thank you to the chairman, vice chairman, executive director Cotton, the board of commissioners. It's been my pleasure to serve working for you and with you, and I appreciate your guidance and your leadership all along the way. To my Port Authority colleagues, I'm your representative. I represent all of the best of what you guys have. I have enjoyed every single moment of this experience. I've said to many of you personally that for me, I've been working with a bunch of all-stars throughout my entire career. And I saw it best in the last 3-4 years, where I've shared so many different stories about the wonderful people that are in the Port Authority. I've been here 38 years. I couldn't always say that. But I will tell you that I've always appreciated the quality and caliber of folks, especially when times were difficult and challenging, and also the leadership that I've seen evolve over the last several years. So I thank you for this recognition. I will say, Chairman, you were close with the video in terms of making me cry. But I will say that I do appreciate the recognition. Thank you very much. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an introvert extrovert. And so generally speaking, I'm not used to being in a situation like this, but I do appreciate it very, very deeply, and I thank you.
Yes, yes, please do. All righty. As we know, last Saturday was Earth Day, and next on the agenda, our Chief Development Officer, Derek Utter, will provide an update on the various sustainability initiatives underway at our facilities.
All right, great. Hard to follow Huntley. Huntley is a great colleague. So I wanted to give you a quick update on some developments on our road to net zero. We made an announcement last week on some solar projects which are really critical towards our goals. So I want to just sort of remind you, the Port Authority has made a bold industry-leading set of goals laid out, which has a road to get to net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. And so what that includes are two shorter-term goals by 2025, which is only 2 years away. We intend to have a reduction of 35% of our greenhouse gases for our operational emissions, and by 2030 to be down by 50%. This is all relative to a 2006 baseline year. And we are well on our way towards that goal. It won't be easy, but it certainly, by setting goals, has galvanized the organization and our stakeholders towards a number of initiatives. They tend to fall in three categories: a heavy focus on energy efficiency. We're also looking at electrifying all vehicles at our airports, at our ports, and various other facilities, and a focus on renewable energy, and I'll focus a little bit on solar projects today. So we announced that we have put into operation the largest rooftop solar project at any U.S. airport at Newark Airport. This is a 5 megawatt project, which sounds a little technical, but how big is that? 13,000 panels, 364,000 square feet, and for the layman, 6 football fields. So 6 football fields of solar panels, which is gigantic. In fact, this is 3 times as large as a similar rooftop facility at LaGuardia Airport that we announced about 2 years ago. In addition, in this parking garage, there will be 163 public parking charging stations. This will support the transition of the rental car companies as well, who many have set aggressive targets to electrify their fleets. And we have future-proofed the parking garage so that we have the ability to expand the number of public charging stations as demand grows. So I want to pause just for a moment and give you a sense of some of the press coverage that we have got over this announcement. So
Airport has a powerful tool hanging over the cars that use it. It's a step toward the future. A massive solar array that's being used to help power the airport until it can be completely powered with green, renewable energy. News 4's Brian Thompson has more.
Atop this brand new Terminal A parking garage at Newark Liberty, a sea of solar panels is lighting this structure and pointing to the future for the tri-state. The Port Authority promising more of this every year until it makes as much green electricity as it consumes, and not just here at this airport.
The good thing that we have going for us is usually space is a premium, but at each of our airports we have pretty good amounts of space to play with.
The Port Authority believes the solar canopy here at Newark Liberty is the largest such display of any airport in the nation, but not for long. Plans for the new Terminal 1 at JFK in Queens require an even larger rooftop display. And since last year, the rebuilt LaGuardia Airport right up the Van Wyck has had thousands of solar panels producing electrons to help operations there. This electric car is just one of roughly 600 electric vehicles already in the Port Authority fleet, all part of this electrification effort, as well as 150 EV chargers here at Newark Liberty. The PA believing this is the largest such airport deployment in the nation, with heavy-duty electric trucks just now starting to be built by manufacturers. They'll also be added to the fleet here till everything is electric.
Volvo, Freightliner, Mack, they've all got electric vehicles that they're coming to market with.
But they're not ready for you yet.
They're not ready yet. Not produced yet.
Until then, these solar panel displays will be the most visible sign of commitment to going green 100% by 2050 in a climate-changing environment, one that threatens PA facilities just above sea level like all three of its biggest airports.
Do you think you can do it before 2050?
I think we can definitely do it before 2050. Yep.
By how many years?
I don't think I have an exact year for you.
It is an ambitious goal, 100% renewable power just 27 years from now, or fewer. But the Port Authority says there is no turning back in this era of climate change. At Newark Liberty, Brian Thompson, News 4 New York.
Okay, big developments.
All right, so the reporter alluded to JFK. There are two major projects at JFK Airport. One is on the long-term parking lot 9. That will be a 12 megawatt installation, so 2 to 3 times the size of the project at Newark. It will have 6 megawatts of those committed to community solar. The other 6 will be used by the airport. It will be the largest carport array in New York State, so this will be a gigantic project. Construction will start this year. The second project, which we note on the slide, is at JFK Redevelopment, and the Terminal 1, which you saw the picture in the news report. That will be a similarly sized project that will also get off as the construction starts this year in that project. Okay. So where are we going with this? We have a pipeline of additional projects beyond these, which are either completed or in construction at LaGuardia, Port Jersey, Newark, and JFK. All of these are critical to meet our 2025 and our 2030 goals. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions from the commissioners? Thank you, Derek. Much appreciated. All right. At this time, we ask for a report from our Executive Director, Rick Cotton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a hard act to follow what we just heard about Huntley. Extraordinary contribution, and I just say once again, my hat is off to Huntley. In my report this month, Mr. Chairman, I want to stress the agency's overall activity levels in Q1. You heard brief headlines from our Chief Financial Officer, but I want to stress the strength of the performance and the challenge that it poses. It also serves as a platform to once again thank the employees of the Port Authority. It is only through their efforts that this agency manages its facilities and delivers outstanding world-class performance. And I also want to repeat, as I frequently do, that we're grateful to the continued commitment of not only of our workforce, but also to the leadership of the 23 unions that represent the majority of our employees. Now, our activity levels, in my judgment, in Q1 demonstrate not only the strong recovery and the resilience of the region, but also the delivery capabilities of the Port Authority. At our 3 major airports, viewed as a network, handled a record high number of travelers, soaring more than 1 million passengers above the Q1 2019 volumes. And that 2019 was a record. It was a record in 2019, and our Q1 was the highest volume of travelers handled in Q1 ever in the Port Authority's 100-year history. And in particular, new first quarter records were set at Newark Liberty and at LaGuardia airports, where passengers are experiencing not merely state-of-the-art facilities, but world-class facilities. At TB&T, the agency's 4 bridges and 2 tunnels hit their highest first quarter volume since 2008, up by nearly 3%
above 2019 levels. At PATH remains below 2019 levels, but they hit a major milestone with the first quarter ridership reaching nearly 60% of 2019 levels and March ridership actually exceeding 60%. PATH has been at approximately in the mid 50% recovery since 2019, and this step up appears to represent a significant increase in terms of return to workplace activity. At the seaport, for the first 3 months of 2023, it continued, and this is important to recognize, it continued to outperform its historic relative position within the top 3 ports in the country. Overall, cargo volumes have declined from their COVID highs, due in part to seasonality trends and to some extent from concerns about a possible coming recession. But the Port of New York and New Jersey continues to maintain a stronger competitive position vis-a-vis the West Coast ports than it has historically. It outpaced Long Beach and came in as the second busiest port in the country in Q1, and it's achieving cargo levels that approach LA. But the relative position changes month by month, quarter by quarter. The main point is that Port of New York and New Jersey is now, relatively speaking to the West Coast ports, in the strongest position it has been in for decades. As our Chief Financial Officer reported, partly as a result of these higher activity levels, the net operating income from the port in Q1 was 4% greater than we had planned, an extremely strong performance. I want to mention a couple of milestones with respect to PATH. Shortly after last month's board meeting, the Port Authority celebrated the first step in the major expansion of PATH service along the Newark World Trade Center line with the commencement of the first 9-car train in the railroad's 100-year history. Starting on March 23rd, the first 9-car trains successfully began running on the Newark to World Trade Center line during both the AM and PM peak periods. The start of this 9-car service required the completion last year of a 3-year station reconstruction to handle the longer lines and relied on the capabilities of PATH's new state-of-the-art signal system. This is a big development. In addition, on April 13th, Port Authority also celebrated putting into service the first of 72 brand spanking new rail cars. The 72 new cars will be in addition to the current 350-car fleet and will increase the overall rolling stock by 20%. The full complement of the 72 cars will gradually be phased into service throughout 2023 and 2024. Commissioners, you just heard our Chief Development Officer describe large solar projects. The Port Authority is committed to making sustainability a priority, and as his description took note, we are making progress and we will continue to escalate our sustainability efforts. Also want to make a comment in terms of our response to the cybersecurity threat landscape. Last week, the entire senior staff of the agency engaged in a cybersecurity tabletop exercise facilitated by one of the industry-leading threat intelligence firms. This exercise simply illustrates and underscores the Port Authority's commitment to address the cyber threat. The Chief Information Security Officer's Office under Technology Chief Robert Galvin has formed a strong partnership with the Office of the Chief Security Officer to ensure a continued major focus on strengthening the PA's cybersecurity posture. Finally, I want to take note of the fact, which is a tribute to our finance department, that the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada, whose overall mission is to advance excellence in public finance, awarded the Port Authority its Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 2021 annual financial report. The certificate is the highest form of recognition in government accounting and financial reporting. With that, Mr. Chairman, I conclude my report.
Thank you, Executive Director. I look forward to hearing from you, Rick, and the staff on as we continue our tour of the facilities. I think we're going to wrap up the next leg, and hopefully we're going to wrap up and give a summary to the public about the state of the port that just took place and have that as a presentation as we are getting back to normal operations. Thank you. Any questions of the Executive Director's report? All righty, hearing none, it's now an opportunity for us to hear from members of the public to comment on Port Authority matters. This public comment portion, which is normally limited to 30 minutes in total, provides an opportunity for members of the public to present their views directly to the board, but not provide for a dialogue. Members of the public wishing to discuss a specific item, please contact our staff and we'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction. Speakers are asked to comply with a fixed 3 minutes. The first one, Jim, we have a written statement that'll be attached to the record.
Yes, from Miss Tana Prado on behalf of the Downtown Lower Manhattan Association.
All right, and then we have 6 members of the public here that wish to speak. First one is Thomas, is it Gretsch, Queens Chamber of Commerce. Thomas?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, folks. My name is Tom Gretsch. I serve as the President and CEO of the Queens Chamber of Commerce. Greetings, Chairman O'Toole, Board Commissioners, Board staff of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Let me just first say I have the utmost respect for not only the Port Authority Governing Board, but also the staff of your organization. I've worked closely for years with Executive Director Rick Cotton, Hirsch Perek on a variety of projects in Queens and beyond. Rick is one of the finest leaders of any organization I know. I am here today not as one of the co-chairs of the LaGuardia AirTrain project, unfortunately, but as the leader of the largest and oldest business association in Queens County with thousands of members and hundreds of thousands of Queens-based employees that work for these organizations. I'm here to express my disappointment for the decisions that have been made to end the LaGuardia AirTrain project. I have talked to many of the participants of the AirTrain Coalition, and they were all equally shocked by this outcome. I must say that the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey has done a fantastic job, on time, under budget, of building a new airport at LaGuardia. That is the best in the world and the latest built in 25 years. Only to have years and years of deep, vibrant community outreach, overwhelming support backed by clear data, thrown out for reasons for a bus. A bus. Clearly, the 3 experts that re-reviewed all the years of data never traveled the Grand Central Parkway, Astoria Boulevard, or the neighborhoods around LaGuardia to understand the traffic that will not only continue to increase, but increase dramatically. Further, somewhere along the way, we lost sight of the reason for a rail link. Dependable, regular connections for travelers and employees to get to and from the airport. I want you all to know that I understand the political nature of the situation, but I must express my disappointment at this turn of events. Instead of having a world-class rail link between LaGuardia and Willets Point, soon to be the home to a 25,000-seat soccer stadium, 2,500 units of affordable housing, with a to-be-determined development of the 50 acres adjoining Citi Field, we will be stuck with a bus, estimated to cost $500 million, that will still travel on the same currently congested roads in and out the airport. I travel these roads every single day, and I consider myself a local transit expert. Instead of having a world-class rail link paid for by users, this bus solution will be paid for by the taxpayers. It is my sincere hope, and the message I want to deliver to this austere board, is that this is just an experiment that will be reversed at a later time. We foresee nothing but growth in this vicinity and in Queens overall, and the current solution will be a hindrance, not a help. I thank you very much for allowing me the time.
Thank you. Stephen Kozlowski?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Steve Kozlowski. I've been employed by the Port Authority for over 20 years. I hold a machinist position, or path, at Harrison Car Maintenance Facility, a position I take great pride in. The Port Authority is an agency that holds its ethics, sexual harassment, and hostile work environment policies to strict standards, which I greatly commend. On an annual basis, the CED department, including myself, are thoroughly trained on all the above-mentioned policies. Even with all the above training, a hostile work environment and sexual harassment continues to exist at Harrison Car Maintenance Facility. I am one of the victims of sexual harassment and hostile work environment by the current foreman of my department. I brought this to the attention of my immediate supervisors and submitted statements along with the witness statements regarding the above-mentioned incidents. I contacted the EEO of Port Authority about my situation. They expressed concern and assured to launch an investigation into this matter. However, management at CED attempted to suppress this situation by allowing the current foreman to sign a written statement confirming his guilty actions, in exchange allowing the current foreman to return to his position at Harrison Car Maintenance Facility. I am bringing this to your attention with hopes that this negative work environment can be eradicated. Many employees fear the current foreman may be reluctant to speak up because of apprehension and retaliation. The constant threats of write-ups, negative comments about coworkers, all play a role in destroying morale. The habitual behavior of the current foreman creates anxiety amongst the employees within the facility. No one should be subject to this morale and production depleting behavior. It is like a cancer, and ladies and gentlemen, it has no place in the workplace or life itself. I am a two-time cancer survivor myself. I was a single parent raising 2 young daughters during my career at PATH. Life is tough for me, enough for me during these times. However, to be subjected to these demeaning situations is truly unacceptable. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Deborah Greff?
The mic before my foot's already.
Sure.
Thank you. I apologize. This time I'm not standing, but the change in weather is bothering my leg.
That's okay.
Okay. First of all, congratulations to the gentleman who retired. I also appreciate all the things you did. Thank you for doing the autism, because I'm chair in Brooklyn for Family Support Committee from OPWDD. So I do know what it's like, because my son has developmental disabilities. So I know how hard it is. I've been advocating ever since he was born, and even before, because my sibling, who's younger, has developmental disabilities. So I want to congratulate you and thank you for what you've done. And please don't get upset what I'm going to say now. I love your lovely book. My son, who is a member of the New York City Transit Riders Council, we were at Grand Central checking to make sure it's accessible and easy for persons like myself to find the help they need. We went into the transit store and they said, oh, we can have the book. Great. I read through the whole thing, because I always do. I'm disappointed, because why? 100 years of New York and New Jersey Port Authority. And I'm glad of everything you've done, but you left out a very important constituents. You didn't talk about persons with disabilities, right? You didn't tell us what the changes or improvements you have done or will be doing for persons who may use PATH, the train, the Go On New Jersey Transit, and when we also have to go into the Port Authority bus terminals, when we need to know if, when we go to the airports, what help we're going to get. Do you know that when I booked, my son and his friend took me down to Miami for my 65th birthday? You know that Amtrak wanted to know before I got on what help I needed. And even when I had to, we were able to go up to Albany when I had to go for my statewide meetings, they make sure to tell me, make sure you go to the red cap. We're going to make sure that you get on the train safely. When I got on, everybody's there helping me. Now, I have not gone on an airplane, and plus I'm nervous about going it, because I don't know what help or assistance I'm going to get. You know, you get spoiled by Amtrak when you know you need help. They're there. And when we were going down, they made sure I was in a room that was really accessible. They asked anything I needed. They came to me to help. So I'm disappointed, because I would have loved to see you tell me you were going to do what you're going to do for the persons with disabilities as your customers. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason Anthony?
Good afternoon, Kevin, Rick. I wonder where your vice chair went, because what Deborah described is pretty concerning. And I wonder what your chief financial officer and capital construction person, what is going to say about this? Because I got news for you guys. On Monday, Jamie Torres Springer from the Metropolitan Transportation Authority announced on the Capital and Development Committee meeting that Omni is coming to the air train at JFK. That's breaking news for you guys. But we have one concern. That is that the port unauthorized, like I call it, doesn't honor the reduced fare MetroCard when we go from Lower Manhattan, in other words, from the World Trade Center station on the cycle path, like I call it, or 33rd Street station in Midtown. Why? Because you guys have SmartLink. That you guys, on that aspect, you guys are slightly ahead of the MTA. But why not create a regional system that the MTA is doing and get together and get on the boat that the MTA is doing? Because I bump into several passengers that wanted to use PATH with their Apple Pay. Haven't listened to this. They couldn't use it because PATH doesn't have Apple Pay enabled, Rick. New York City is an international destination, and the Port Authority is way behind, Rick. We have to wake up and smell the coffee already. The MTA is going ahead. I don't know what you guys are going to do regarding congestion pricing. You guys are not, your chief financial officer is not saying if you guys are receiving federal funding or not. Your chief financial officer is not saying neither if your finances are ordered or not. Your chief financial officer is not also saying if you guys are receiving funds from New York and New Jersey. We need accountability. We demand clear answers. And I'm going to keep coming every single month until we get clear answers. And that's all I have to say for this month. I'll see you guys next month.
Thank you, Jason. Murray Bowden? Robert Safante? Robert?
Good afternoon, Chairman, Mr. Executive Director, Board of Commissioners. My name is Robert Safante. I'm the President of the Sergeants Benevolent Association. I'm also the President of the Port Authority Labor Council, and today I am here to share something very important. Port Authority, SBA, has always had a long tradition of priding itself with an excellent working relationship with management. And today we are here to recognize one of our partners, Huntley Lawrence. At this time, I'd like to call up to the podium First Vice President Al Faraday and retired President Richard Hassmiller. We have a presentation for Huntley that we would like to be read into the record. At this time, Huntley, if you could just come on up. I'd like to turn the remainder of my time over to former President, retired President, no tension or pension, Rich Hassmiller.
Thank you. Before I read this, I just want to give a little history. About 15 years ago, I met Huntley when he was the general manager, just starting out at Newark Airport as the general manager, and I was a sergeant there. And as many people have said, and Huntley himself said, we're a family. It's a family that sometimes fights, sometimes gets territorial, and we usually make up in the end. Huntley was never like that. He always had an open door policy. And about 10 years ago, we were going through a little drama with the FAA at Newark Airport, and he helped me tremendously. I could go up to his office any day, sit down with them, talk with them. He would get me whatever I needed to do all the training I needed to do with all the officers and sergeants downstairs with the ARF. So we decided we should recognize this because, honestly, Huntley is a true friend of the Port Authority Sergeants Benevolent Association, and I really appreciated all his help over the years. Port Authority Sergeants Benevolent Association, congratulations
presented to Huntley Lawrence, Chief Operating Officer, Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, in appreciation of your dedication and service for more than 38 years to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, and your professionalism and fraternal support of the Port Authority Sergeants Benevolent Association. Good luck in all your future endeavors and best wishes in your retirement. The Port Authority Sergeant Benevolent Association. I believe that's all we have to say, unless Rob wants to finish off.
Huntley, usually when we have a member of the SBA retire, we use that famous line. No more attention, just the pension. Congratulations to you and your family. Godspeed and good luck.
Thank you very much. Our last speaker, Murray Bowden. Murray?
I wrote you an email this morning. After watching everything that happened here today, I would have written it very much differently. I've learned a lot. And one of the most important things, this is a do not resuscitate, which I carry with me. But it's valueless because nobody knows if it's real or fake. One of the things I learned that there are other states. I have a driver's license that says I can contribute my organs. Well, New York State does not permit me to say, do not resuscitate on it. But another state does. All you have to do is say, put it on there because I'm going to be 90 on June 11th. And yesterday there was a school bus accident in Westchester where a head-on collision and people died. I don't want to be revived. I've had an excellent life. I've met a lot of great people, and I want to go. So that's that. I've made a request for years and years and years about the road lines at JFK. Today, with cars and auto vehicles that are driving themselves with cameras, it is important to reduce the amount of information they have to process so that they drive more safely. Which means for a car, autonomous or otherwise, to see the left edge of the road being yellow and the right edge of the road being white reduces the amount of computing power that vehicle has to use to drive safely. There are millions of streets in the United States and you can't record them all, but you can reduce the amount of time and increase the safety by having left lines yellow. Why? And I brought this to the attention. I've spoken here about it. I've shown pictures of it. JFK is incredibly wrong. Bring it to your attention now. They give you road lines to guide your car so you know where you're going. Is that just for the summertime or is that for 12 months of the year? It seems to be that the people who paint those lines on there only paint them for the summertime. And when we need them most, when it's dark, the law says that there has to be a certain level of reflectivity for night vision. Whether you like it or not, people my age are going to continue to drive. That's reality. Yes, I know. Safety requires this discussion. If you can make it safety for stupid people my age, I can still see. I lost the vision in my left eye and I got it back again. I have herpes in my eye. I can still see to drive well because I've been driving this many years. I know how to drive safely. My jacket is this color because I want to be seen safely, and I've worn it here many, many times. In the interest of safety, Rick, I would appreciate The world would appreciate if you would send a crew out there tomorrow or the first dry day and have them start painting the lines where the ramp starts at that very point, yellow. Is it legal? I've had this discussion with Michael, your traffic engineer, years ago, and he knows more about it than I do, but it is agreed. If you need to change the manual of uniform traffic control devices, he just has to document it. And I would have 3 engineers just to make it safe to say, we want that line yellow from the point where the ramp starts. And then when you draw the lines, make them a uniform width. They go sharp in because that's the way they were designed 50 years ago. People don't drive that way today.
Murray, you should wrap it up.
Yes, I know.
Okay, thank you.
You want to lock me up again?
Thank
I may never get here again. I'm in a wheelchair. I can stand up for 4 or 5 minutes, but then when I have to sit down, I brought my own chair. I want to thank the Port Authority's Police Department for the help they give me at the last meeting to get my wheelchair back. I'm just learning how to use it. And to the hundreds of people at the Port Authority have been helpful all these years. I could not have done this by myself. Somebody took the time to teach me.
Thank you, Murray. Jim, any other speakers, either written or listed?
That is all, Chairman.
Thank you. Now we'll proceed with a couple of votes, and we shall conclude the Love of Huntley Lawrence meeting. Each of the respective chairs will provide a brief report prior to each of the matters being considered today. As chair of the Committee on Operations, I will now present an item under the committee's purview. This item authorizes a 6-month extension of an agreement with AV Ports and continued operation and maintenance services at Teterboro Airport effective December 1st, 2023, with one 3-month option for further extensions exercisable by the Port Authority. Prior to making a motion, I ask the Corporate Secretary to note any recusals.
There are no recusals.
Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Motion, please.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Commissioner Bullwidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy?
Yes.
Commissioner Horwitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosado?
Yes.
Votes are in order. This item is approved. We'll now hear from the Capital Planning, Execution, and Asset Management, which I will, as the Vice Chair. Our first item authorizes $3 million for planning and design work for a future project to rehabilitate 3 taxiways at the JFK International Airport. Prior to making a motion, I ask the Corporate Secretary to note any recusals.
There are no recusals.
Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Commissioner Bullwidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy?
Yes.
Commissioner Horwitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosado?
Yes.
Motion carries. Last item to be voted on, authorizes a $26.9 million project to replace an expansion joints and portions of runways 4-22 and 13-31 at LaGuardia Airport. Prior to making a motion, I ask the Corporate Secretary to note any recusals.
There are no recusals.
Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Motion, please.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Commissioner Bullwidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy?
Yes.
Commissioner Horwitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosado?
Yes.
I'm sorry, one more other item we have to hear from Commissioner Horwitz.
Chairman,
Yes.
I believe that you, there's one other item of port matter.
For vice chairs?
Yes.
I apologize. Oh, you're right, I apologize. Last item authorizes a project to upgrade, realign, rehabilitate approximately 3 miles of roadway and associated infrastructure that form the Port Street corridor at Port Newark at a total cost of $220 million. The item also authorizes the award of construction contract to complete the construction of the project. This is the last in a series of projects to upgrade the roadway at network at Port Newark and Elizabeth Marine Terminal that will enhance safety and improve traffic flow. Prior to making a motion, I ask that the Corporate Secretary note any recusals. Any comments or questions? Motion, please.
So moved.
Second. Roll call. Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He's a yes.
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 Motion carries. But Vice Chair's a yes. Yeah, he told me he's a yes on all three of those. Last item, I apologize for the oversight, Commissioner Horowitz on Committee on Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the Committee on Finance, I am recommending that the committee consider two items. The first item authorizes the renewal of property damage and loss of revenue insurance coverage for Port Authority assets, including coverage for acts of terrorism. The coverage is placed under two separate programs, one covering certain Port Authority assets at the World Trade Center site, and the second covering all of the facilities of the Port Authority. This is a vote of the Committee on Finance only. Prior to making a motion on this item, I ask the Corporate Secretary to note any commissioner recusals on the Finance Committee on this matter.
There are no recusals.
Do the commissioners have any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, I now request a motion on this item.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I now request the Corporate Secretary to call the roll for voting on this item.
Commissioner Horowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe,
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson.
Yes.
The votes are in order. The item is approved. Chairman, the next item authorizes the renewal of owner-controlled insurance coverage for Port Authority construction projects. This is a vote of the Finance Committee only. Prior to making a motion on this item, I ask the Corporate Secretary to note any commissioner recusals on this matter.
There are none.
Commissioners have any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, I now request a motion on this item.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
I now request the Corporate Secretary to call the roll for voting on this item.
Commissioner Horowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe,
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson.
Yes.
As the votes are in order, the item is approved. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. There being no further business, I move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
In favor, aye? Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Rick?